If you play or have ever played a bit of the main quest in Star Stable Online, you would remember that Mr. Sands is introduced as the mysterious and powerful leader of the shady organization Darkcore. To most players, he's the game's ultimate villain, and the ultimate villain of the many games before Star Stable Online as well. He is the face of evil that is and always has been determined to bring destruction to Jorvik by unleashing Garnok, which is a monstrous force of chaos. But if we look more closely at the story, the history, and the people around Mr. Sands, we start to see a very different picture of him. One that's more human and actually very tragic. In this video, we are going to take a deep dive on how Mr. Sands might not be the exact villain we are led to believe he is. If you like these kinds of videos and you play Star Stable, consider subscribing to my channel to see more videos like these if you like them. I would also like to mention that this video was made in collaboration with IceCoreKate on TikTok. She posts a lot of Star Stable lore content and just Star Stable content in general, some cosplay, and has shared so much information and given me the resources to make this video. Her TikTok will be linked below, and I'll also list more detailed credits at the end of this video. This is going to be a really complicated one, so buckle in. So who is Mr. Sands really? Mr. Sands is far from a simple character. The thing is that he's actually gone by many names. One of them is Sangorda or Sankorda, I'm not sure that's how you say it. I'm just gonna say it like that for now. He's gone by that name and also Mr. Sandy, Owen D. Sands, and John Sandman. The thing is that he's actually been alive for centuries, or at least since the 19th century, but likely much longer. His long life is probably the result of his devotion to Garnok, which is the monster of chaos and manipulation that Mr. Sands made a dark pact with. In fact, his real name is Sangorda, and it's linked to the ancient followers of Garnok, as revealed in the Starshine Legacy comics. He's not just a man, he's something entirely different. He's believed to be one of the original followers who arrived on Jorvik with Garnok, and over the centuries he's taken on many faces and identities to carry out this mission that he has of bringing Garnok back. One of the most fascinating details is that Mr. Sands is the biological father of Thomas Morland, and that means that he is the grandfather of Justin Morland. Justin, who is previously the character we were first introduced to in the game, and one of the main characters in Star Stable Online is Mr. Sands' grandson, which is pretty interesting considering he's like the main villain of Star Stable. So before I continue talking about Mr. Sands, I will do a quick rundown of who Garnok actually is. And although Garnok is the main villain of Star Stable, we aren't really that often reminded who Garnok really is. And I think a lot of people kind of lose track of his origins. So Garnok is an ancient extraterrestrial monster of chaos and destruction. And it is believed by many people to be this octopus-like monster lurking beneath the surface of Jorvik, which is how we have seen him appear. And while most of Jorvik's population consider him this like myth, those who know the truth about Garnok understand that he is very real and in fact extremely dangerous. He or it, I don't know what you can call it, but he is originally from another solar system, and Garnok was banished to the edge of the universe by Fripp and the Guardians, but during his journey when he was being banished, Garnok's henchmen broke loose, causing their ship to crash into the sea near Jorvik, where Garnok has remained imprisoned ever since, and is why we often see clips or images of Garnok in the ocean. Depending on who you ask though, Garnok is either a monster in the sea or just this like raw Pandoric power hiding beneath the earth. Some people like Idris and Darkcore workers claim that he's not even a creature at all, but this kind of like force that can be tamed to bring wealth and power to Jorvik and have these powers that give you benefits. In Starshine Legacy, which is one of the previous Star Stable games, Garnok manages to reach above the sea using his tentacles to attack Alex and Tin Can during a showdown. And he has further appeared in Star Stable Online, where he remains sealed in Pandora, but his generals, like Mr. Sands and the Dark Rider, work all the time to unleash him using these dark rituals. And at one point his tentacles even reach into the secret stone circle, but are pushed back by Fripp's power. When the Soul Riders attempt to rescue Anne and Concord, Garnok interfered directly. This probably reminds you of how basically the whole point of the Star Stable Online main quest is to stop Garnok and work against him. So this is kind of like what the whole game is about, I could say, or the essence of the whole story is Garnok and stopping him. So going back to talking about Mr. Sands, the earliest known appearance of Mr. Sands dates back to 1871, where he lived under the name Mr. Sanders as a fisherman who supposedly caught this creature from the Kraken depths, something that resembled one of Garnok's generals. But him catching this creature wasn't a coincidence. It's actually believed that he was fishing near Kraken depths to find remnants of Garnok's minions on purpose because he knew they were there, as we can see on this news post. Then, later in 1890, he adopted a new name, Owen D. Sands, and he launched a company called DeepCore, supposedly to help industrialize Jorvik, but it quickly became clear that his goal wasn't economic at all. His goal was to drill into the heart of Jorvik, which we still don't exactly know why, but possibly to reach Pandora. Maybe you guys remember, but I made a whole video about this earlier, how Pandora might actually be under Jorvik or inside of the core. And this is basically just a theory, and you can watch my videos. I really recommend watching my video on this because there's a lot of evidence to show this. It would kind of just connect the dots for everything, because it would make so much sense why they're actually drilling for Pandora to be under the surface of Jorvik or inside the core. And a little after this, a mining accident in this company in 1903 killed 190 workers, and there was another accident that actually occurred in 1904, which killed 211 more, along with 14 civilians. These serial accidents did it so that the company DeepCore was forced to shut down, and after this, Mr. Sands kind of just vanished for the time being. Mr. Sands reappeared in more recent years under the name John Sandman, and he claimed to have grown up in Firgrove. He also went on to marry the Baroness of Silverglade, and they had a son, which was Thomas Moreland. But his marriage to the Baroness ended, and on a very bitter note, possibly because the Baroness discovered his actual identity. So I have some dialogue here from the Baroness, and some of this dialogue that I have in this video are not so well documented. Obviously, Star Stable has over 100 different quests with 1,000 different dialogues and quest lines, so it's very, very hard to find back to these specific quotes that aren't really well documented. This quote I found from a Star Stable blog, and I'm pretty sure that this is something that has been said in game, as I've seen several people document this but no photos of it, which is probably because it's so old or because the quest has changed. So I'm really sorry I'm not able to provide a picture of this. Any of the ones that I can't provide a picture of, I can assure you that they did happen in the game. It's just that I don't have the photo of it. I know that you guys enjoy when I have the photo of the actual dialogue, but unfortunately for some of these I don't. But in the dialogue of the quest named The Explanation, the Baroness said, "Apparently, I had an old wedding photo lying around. One of me and the man that used to be my husband. Mr. San, man." And it's written in this way that it seems like she's trying to say Mr. Sands, but then she says Mr. Sandman, so obviously it seems like she knows that he has had different identities throughout the years. So I can suspect that this is why their marriage ended or something along the lines of that. Mr. Sands was also a landowner, and he owned Moorland Stables, which was gifted to him by the Baroness, and also a home in Firgrove, which he leased to Mistress Packard, and even served on the Firgrove Council in 1959. We also have this piece of dialogue which proves that he did actually lease this home.
Dear girl, I'm so happy to meet you. What's your name? Crystal? What a lovely name, dear. John Sandman, you say? It does ring a bell. Actually, John Sandman was the man I paid my rent to when I first took over this house. Yes, that's the name, all right. He must be a kind soul, Mr. Sandman. 70 years, and he's never once raised my rent.
As you can see, this woman is pretty old, and she's talking about this, like, renting this house as if it's like a thing that happened long ago, and she's old, so obviously this shows as well that Mr. Sands is pretty old. But eventually Mr. Sands took residence in Pine Hill Mansion and emerged again as the leader of what we now know as Dark Core. Now you might wonder what this woman is talking about in this dialogue with Rosalinda, and I'm going to talk about that, and it's one of the main points for this theory or this whole video. And according to the Legend Awakens novel, this all began with love. You're right. Mr. Sands, before he was Sands, fell in love with a woman named Rosalinda. But Rosalinda was rumored to be a witch, and after her death, something inside Mr. Sands just shattered. And that is when Mr. Sands began to hear Garnok's voice. And this sounds a little bit crazy, and I know a lot of people are thinking, like, did he just develop like schizophrenia or depression so severe that he started hallucinating things? But I'm going to talk about how I don't think this is the case a little bit later. But anyways, Garnok offered Mr. Sands power and immortality, and also the faint promise that Rosalinda could be actually brought back after she was dead. Mr. Sands accepted this, but what he got from Garnok wasn't peace, it was purpose, which was twisted by grief and pain. Mr. Sands has certainly done horrible things. He has imprisoned Lisa and Anne, corrupted horses, drugged and stolen animals, and even tried to use Justin as a replacement Dark Rider. He's also kind of just been in on the whole like destruction of the world and basically. But do you remember when Justin was taken away to be a Dark Rider? As it turned out, Justin actually wanted to do this, I think, but anyways, he went away with the Dark Riders to try to become a Dark Rider, and when the Dark Riders realized that he wasn't any good because he didn't have any powers, they decided that they were going to drown him. And this is actually one time that we see a sympathy from Mr. Sands, or that we see feelings, because as you can see in this questline, he says, "Justin, my blood, I'm so sorry, grandson. Aideen's light saved you from the darkness today, but now that he has seen you, you will never be safe on Jorvik." And what he means by he is Garnok. So basically, Mr. Sands is kind of warning Justin against Garnok, or it seems so that Mr. Sands knows that Garnok is not something that you want to get involved with, and that he doesn't even want it himself. And he's upset because his grandson has now been involved with Garnok. He also states that he doesn't want his grandson to die, and even though he's useless to the Dark Riders. Even Darko, which is Mr. Sands' right-hand man, thinks Sands' decision to involve Justin was based on love, not strategy, which might be the clearest evidence we have that Sands still have a heart. As I said, when the Dark Riders attempted to drown Justin, Mr. Sands secretly triggered an alarm to save him, which shows that he is still risking everything for his grandson. The thing is that Mr. Sands is not the only one who shows this complexity. Linda, one of the Soul Riders, once read Sands' diary and cried for him. She cried for a man who loved, lost, and then fell into darkness. And during one of the Halloween events, or the quests in the Halloween events, she said, No one is truly evil, not even Mr. Sands. And I think that this moment kind of reframes everything, because if Linda, which is one of the sole writers, can feel sympathy for him and can see the human beneath the monster, then maybe Mr. Sands isn't really that beyond redemption. Let's not forget the real puppet master here, which is Garnok. In the Darkness Falling novel, we learn that Garnok manipulates people by promising them what they have lost. As I said earlier, Garnok whispers to the grieving. He offers illusions of hope. So basically, Garnok sees people who are struggling and who are able to do anything to get their loved ones back or to achieve what they want to achieve. And he promises them this in trade that they will be a soldier for Garnok. So is Mr. Sands really a villain? The answer is complicated, and yes, he has done unforgivable things, but he's also made a lot of sacrifices. He has shown love, and he might be just as much of a victim of Garnok as anyone else is. He's just kind of like on the other side of the spectrum. He's not really just a villain, he's a reflection of how grief can kind of twist people and how hope can be weaponized. And personally, I think that Mr. Sands has obviously done a lot of things that are very, very twisted and dark, but I don't think that he personally, I think that he kind of just wants to fight his cause, and that is his great love. Mr. Sands may have started as the enemy, but the more we learn, it's harder to claim that he's evil. And maybe Linda was right. So the next time you see his name in the game or in the books, ask yourself, what would you have done if you lost everything? Maybe then you'll see him not as the villain of Star Stable Online, but as Star Stable Online's and just the Star Stable franchise in general's most tragic figure, because that's exactly what I think he is. Although I think that Mr. Sands is really creepy and like scary, he honestly like kind of makes my heart beat when I see him, because I think he's scary as hell. But I think this is really interesting lore to discuss, and I think that this kind of like, as I said earlier, the whole story of Mr. Sands kind of just ties the knots together. Like now I feel like I've kind of come full circle with this whole theory that Pandora is under Jorvik, because with this story everything makes sense. Like, excited to hear what you guys think about this and what other theories that you have in relation to this. While I was researching this, I actually looked up on YouTube a couple of videos about this, but I didn't watch any of them through because I didn't want my opinions to be skewed. Like, I kind of just want to do my own research and I could watch them afterwards. So I'm really excited to hear if you guys have any of that. Now I want to get into the credits for this video. I'm sorry for my mic change. I'm at my parents' house now and I'm finishing this video, but I just want to go over the credits as I said. So obviously, as you can see, I have used a lot of clips from other creators in my videos because getting video of these quest lines is very difficult, especially since you can't like go back and do them yourself. So huge credit to those clips that I've been able to find and use. You can look up their channels and they have a lot of great gameplay videos. So if you're interested in looking at gameplay, then definitely watch that. And also I want to give credit to the Star Stable books. Even though that's a part of the Star Stable franchise, there is a lot of stuff in the books that doesn't really get mentioned in game, and that also like I would never have known if I didn't have access to the books. And I do have access to some of the books because I own them, but not all of them, so I wasn't really able to find pictures and like stuff from all of them or dialogue, but I've read online and like theory pages and stuff, people mentioning the book. So if you are really interested in Star Stable lore, I would actually recommend reading the books because they have a lot of interesting stuff. And also, as I said, I want to give credit to IceCoreKate for putting me on this subject, because I would have never have thought to make a video about this if I didn't ask her about her knowledge on this subject in specific. And during the creation of this video, I lost my pinboard, which those of you who don't know what a pinboard is, basically when you use Opera, the browser, you have these pinboards that you can save, and I usually save all the videos that I use in my videos there so that I can go and link them in the description later. And for some reason my pinboard just got deleted and it wasn't synchronized, so I lost my pinboard. So I don't think I will be able to link all the videos that I used in the description, but I put the channel names there if you want to go check that out. I also want to give a huge credit to Starstablestudies, which is a website or a blog that has a lot of very high quality information, and though the things that I got from there was actually written in 2017, which is quite long ago, it still helped me a lot, and it has a lot of useful pictures in there and a lot of interesting pictures. So check out Star Stable Studies. I think they're at starstablestudies.blogspot.com. I know this video has taken a long time to make and it's been a while since I posted, but it's really just because I tried to get the most of the research done that I can, and I also try to come up with my own opinions so that there's value to these videos. I am really thankful to all of the other people who also make Star Stable content and also are interested in the lore and stuff, because I could never have managed to make my videos without them. And obviously if I would have done this all on my own, it would have been super hard to be able to go back and, you know, get all of those clips and get the information. So I'm super thankful that people post these clips because it genuinely is so interesting to me. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and if you watched the whole video, then you're a real one. I will see you next time, and I will be back with some other videos soon. Just for information, I'm starting an apprenticeship soon, and I'm also moving, and I'm also going to a wedding, so I have a lot on my plan now upcoming, so I can't guarantee that I'll be able to make videos as often, but I'm gonna try my best to get it done in between. And thank you so much for supporting my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!